everybody, welcome to this new moon reading. I'm just going to go through the zodiac signs chronologically, starting with Aries, moving all the way through Pisces. Happy new moon in Aries, everyone. We're just going to look at the major arcana today and get an archetype for maybe some new shoes that you're stepping into with this new moon. So let's see, with the major arcana, there's a lot of expectation and responsibility. Okay, so it's an important role. It's like a gateway. You can look at these cards as gateways that you pass through, and the archetypes themselves are kind of the guardians of these gateways, and you can ask their permission and their protection and their strength and their knowledge, their wisdom as you go into this new realm. So starting with Aries at 1 minute in. Now, where is my pen? Okay, Aries, let's see what archetype you are embodying at this time. Or what is asked of you? What is asked of you, Aries? Aries. I just saw a blackbird fly by the window, so there's something about maybe, not surveillance, but like scoping, vigilance, protection. The Chariot, protection. I'm only taking one. I'm going to put this back. I know you want to see it. It's the sun. There's a lot to do with your body, the strength of the body, right? Honoring the body as a sacred vessel for the spirit and how we take care of it. When all those things are aligned, we can move forward in harmony. Music could be really important right now. Real estate could be really important. There's also a train going by as I'm talking to you. So the Chariot, the train going by is pretty profound, especially with that bird. There's a lot of movement for you, Aries. And it's time to go. It's go time. It's your season. It's your moon. Let's go. Jupiter's there. You've got so much happening around you right now. So you're feeling really empowered and ready to take something on. It seems like, too, there's an emphasis on partnerships or teamwork, whether it's aspects of yourself or you with others. It's going for what you want. It's working together. It's having those goals. And, let's work together because we are stronger as a team. So things are really moving forward. Victory and this beautiful feeling of protection, like your own kind of sacred space or a sacred world too. Something musical, like angels are singing. Pay attention to when the number 7 shows up, when the number 07 shows up. It seems like you have angelic guidance around you as well. Only the heavens are above you. So nobody is above you here. And there's such a perfect harmony between the light and the dark. Harmony, working together, seeing how things affect one another. There's a lot of this pieces coming together, maybe inspiring someone to be strong and make some kind of bold move as well. You tend to be really good at empowering other people. It's like you don't need the advice. You're helping other people feel empowered. So the Chariot is your card for this time. Travel, again, I said travel, real estate, dealing with assets. Music is a big thing. Whether messages are coming through to you as music or you're playing music. But that is such a sacred expression of divinity within us. Thank you, Aries. Okay, Taurus, what is asked of you at this time? What are you stepping into? Taurus, Star. I heard being the guiding light for others, healing, repairing things, also feeling the positivity of the season. Aries is the season just behind you, so there's an awareness that you're next, right? And it's like the star is kind of that distant hope, something you're hoping for, but it gets closer and closer. It gets brighter the more you look at it. So the more you look at something, the more obvious it's becoming. There is a detox happening. There's a purge, washing the wounds, starting fresh, really coming up from that underworld of uncertainty or darkness or confusion, loss maybe, into a place of hope and deep, deep healing on a physical, spiritual, and mental level. A lot of you could be performers. You could be reaching a point of increased attention and just feel like for everyone, we are all the same. We are all made of stardust. We're all composed of these beautiful, chaotic stars, and the absolute divinity in that, but the absolute humanity in it as well. We all share this commonality. And there's something about, like, it is an Aquarius card, but it is that Aquarian theme of the collective mentality that we're all one. We all share something in common. So there could be a need maybe to look at common ground and repairing relationships, bridge building perhaps. A lot of healing taking place at this time, hope, inspiration coming back. Really nice to see. So your dreams, your goals are becoming real. Everything is getting closer to you. Like it's closer. It's almost within reach. Learning some new healing techniques or modalities. Touch therapy, perhaps. Maybe some of you are, again, performers, singers, actors. It's hopeful though. It's quiet, it's peaceful, but it's very hopeful. And maybe that's the point. Maybe you want to keep a little bit of distance there so that you keep looking forward to it, right? It's not in your face. It's just over the horizon. So you know it's there and you look for it and it gives you that little feeling, but you don't really want to reach out and grab it or embody it yet completely. Okay, Gemini, new moon in Aries. Gemini. What could it be? Justice. Justice. Now this could be to do with communications. It could be the law. A lot of Geminis tend to work in those very mental, cerebral positions. Analysis. The thing is, this is the judge who is looking at what the jury has decided upon. There's been there's a lot of deliberation. There's a lot of different opinions and perspectives. And the justice looks at all of this and the different options presented, the different cases presented, and gives the ruling based on the decisions of others. Now there's kind of a question here, Gemini. Is it a jury trial or not? Are there other people involved? Do you, like, typically with justice, I do see the necessity for, I want to say democracy, like listening to other people's voices, letting people vote, or letting multiple people give their story, give their perspective, right? You really have to look with this card. It's diplomacy. I don't think democracy was quite the right word, but you know what I'm saying, right? You have to look at as many possibilities and, you know, get the full story. Like you really want to listen to as many stories as you can or like research something as much as you can. Look at all the options in order to make a decision. And this decision is not necessarily made in a second. It could be something that you deliberate on. But the thing with justice, I think, here is you're making the decision. So it's kind of, you know, that empowering Aries energy. It's like, let's make the decision. Let's make this happen. And it's coming from a good place. I mean, you feel quite balanced. You feel, it feels fair. It's what is fair according to what has already taken place. It's about balancing those scales. And if one side goes too much over here, then we have to do something on the other side to bring it back into balance, the sacred balance. You know, no corruption, removing corruption, allowing the good to prevail. And even though there is an awareness of duality with this card and with the way the universe works, it's important to focus on what is fair and what is good. There's a lot of processing with this. It takes quite a lot out of you to really look at everything and then make that decision. So I don't know if you're being underrated or underappreciated or something with how much you've actually had to really consider. But anyway, justice is here. I mean, this is what's fair. And a lot of you, this could be a ruling. It could be the ruling. It could be something in your favor. And there's a question too about who has access to justice, right? Because typically justice should be for everyone, everything. How can we give justice to those who cannot speak for themselves or fight for themselves? Another great way to look at this card, everything's in its right place. Everything's where it should be. So you're feeling pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Cancer. We'll say 12 minutes for Cancer. All right, Cancer, let's get you a major arcana. Okay, I chose this. And we have Wheel of Fortune on the bottom. It was face up, so I am going to take it. Okay, well, when I see these cards together, you've got a lot of change coming your way, Cancer. You've got a new job. You know that one cycle is ending here. And because one cycle ends, that inevitably means that something else is waiting to begin. But the thing with the Wheel of Fortune is you kind of have to accept that this ending is here, the cycle has come to a close, because the wheel doesn't stop. But if you deny it or you try to fight it, then you just create more blocks for yourself. What you're actually doing here is accepting it and creating a lot of harmony. There's an end to a love relationship, an end to a partnership, like a business partnership, a job of some kind, something contractual where you know, both parties were equally responsible, and now, for whatever reason, it could be outside circumstances, could be one of the parties has decided to split. That's just what's happening here. But rest assured, like I've seen these cards myself in my own life, actually, not to talk about myself here, but I'm going to. That is exactly what happens. I mean, it's massive endings that sometimes we cannot control because we are subject to outside circumstances. Like, oh, my building got sold and now they're going to tear it down. Or, oh, you know, there's like things that just get in the way of your path. And that's just part of it is life. A part of life is accepting that, you know what, I'm just going to roll with it because I'm not fully in control all of the time. Lovers is that partnership where we acquiesce. Is that quite the right word? It's not about surrender or defeat, but it's like, what do you think? What do you hear? Or like, okay, it's your turn to hold the reins, right? It's like we each kind of take turns just making decisions and moving things along. So sometimes we let go and we go with the flow and go, okay, like something bigger than like today, something requires me to be there, and it's not something I planned on. It's unexpected, but it's a lot bigger and more important and pressing than what I thought I was going to be doing today. So I have to kind of show up for it. You know what I mean? Like there's just this theme of big cycles, but also the acceptance and the lessons learned, like karmic, like big things you were involved with for certain reasons. And you kind of have to look at the reasons you were involved. Like, was it easy? Or was it an opportunity at the time, but because it's Wheel of Fortune, it's an opportunity, it's fortunate, but it's not always forever. So it just, it's run its natural course. Lovers is all about nature, natural. So this is all about something having run its natural course. And you can rest assured that you're about to move on to the next plane, like the next journey, and things are going to be balanced out. But you've got to go with the flow. Okay, that's completely melted. I'm curious if that candle went out when I was talking to you. We'll just pop that in there. Okay, Leo, we'll start you off at 1605. Okay, Leo. New moon in Aries, High Priestess. Are you in a very sacred place? This is a powerful new moon for you to create something, or to just be with the energy, to just be with it, to sit in silence with it, to feel it, to let it move through you, and to observe, and to not insert yourself so much, but to just bear witness. Very powerful moon for you. And this could indicate a period of silence, could indicate that you're spending time reading paperwork, reading documents, learning, taking in, right? Absorbing some new knowledge, learning a new practice, learning a new skill. Some of you are choosing to not participate. It seems like this moon is a little quiet for you. Even though it's a fellow fire sign, it seems like it's just you're preferring to just keep things kind of quiet, or to act alone. High Priestess acts alone. And she doesn't need anybody. I mean, she's the High Priestess. She's got access to everything. She doesn't need to ask permission from anyone else. And at the same time, though, she doesn't power trip. She doesn't power trip. It's kind of like you're about to embark on something. It's unfamiliar territory, and you might want to ask the High Priestess to be there for you, guide you through. You might need to ask for guidance, ask, mentorship, guidance. Maybe you're providing this to someone. Counselor? Maybe something scientific you want to study, but I feel like it is very much about silence and just how much space, just how loud silence can be. But you're not forceful. You're just observing and, creating space, maybe allowing someone to express themselves, or having a lot of patience to let someone feel comfortable enough to fully tell you what's going on, right? I think there's a confidentiality here. Somebody wants to confide in you, or you're wanting to confide in them. And that requires patience and no judgment, just silent observation. But do make sure whatever it is you're doing, do make sure that you record it, okay? It's necessary to record, write down, or observe. All right, Virgo. Virgo, let's see. New moon in Aries, Virgo. New moon in Aries. Got the Hanged Man. So it's like one little piece of the puzzle didn't quite fit, or one person didn't agree with the rest of the group, and now everybody's got to kind of wait for them to catch up. Like there's something, you might be a little, it's funny because Hanged Man tells you to be patient, but you might be feeling impatient because of this. We kind of see a hanged jury, or a hung, like a hung jury. They haven't reached the same conclusion. And so there's a need to kind of wait it out and give it more time and let everyone kind of listen to the different perspectives. It's a time of removing yourself. It's a time of suspense, maybe perhaps changing your mind about something, because things are going to change. I got to tell you that when the Hangman comes up, there's a lot happening behind the scenes, and that's why you're put in suspense. You're not meant to act right now because there's new opportunities or new information or something else that's coming in to fill the void. So even though it feels confusing or kind of lifeless or gray right now, acknowledge this time as receptive mode. This is a time where you are subtly taking in new things, but that's why not a lot of big loud stuff is happening, because you're meant to pay attention to the little things and just kind of roll with and if you're dealing with the Cancer, they have a similar message. Like there's a surrender here. Now, your opposing sign, Pisces, you've got Saturn there. So there could be some hard lessons in relationships, in business, in clients, one-on-one relationships. There could be some hard lessons learned over the next 3 years with Saturn in your partnership sector, where you're learning about surrender. You're learning about what it means to sacrifice. Now, some of you could be telling stories of like mythical stories. You could be photography, film, telling a story without words, just telling a story with the visuals. What do the words top corner mean to you? Hanged Man could be very acrobatic too. You could be taking on some learning aerial yoga or learning something where you're kind of up in the sky. Some of you may be learning to be a pilot. But the point is, it feels like something's been decided for you. And your best bet right now is to just let go of control and let it be, because it's letting you into the next phase. Thank you. 2320. Libra. Hi, Libra. My stomach is rumbling now. I'm kind of hungry. Libra. Let's see. Get a card for you. Libra. Libra. New moon in Aries. Libra. My rule is I've got quite a few cards here, so I'm just going to take one. I've got the moon. Well, there's the moon itself. I mean, this is romance because this is in your partnership sector. So this could be new beginnings with like how you express yourself, how you communicate, how you are seen by your public, your clients. There's a rumbling under the surface, like you've been quiet for too long, you haven't let on to something, so you need to communicate that now. And this could be creative expression, romance, music. There's a lot of feeling. Something around this moon could feel a bit somber, a bit heavy, because it's uncertain. And you know, the nighttime can play funny tricks on us when we're in the dark. We can't sleep, and it's out of alignment with what most other people are doing. You know, the sky's dark. It's like, oh, I should be sleeping, but maybe there's a disconnect with what everyone else is doing and what you're doing. So this moon card, something needs to be expressed. Something is deep within. It's a feeling. It's deep. You need creative expression. So, you know, writing poetry or just talking about it, going to a counselor. It's necessary to get this out of you because there's something unsettling about it. Now with the moon, I also see a big light. There could be a big lamp or a big light. Maybe you're purchasing some furniture. Maybe this is about a photography studio or having some kind of spotlight on you, or playing around with film, playing with photography, playing with lighting and shadow. I think it's playful. I really get a playful feel off the moon for you, but I do think there are some of you that, again, you need to express something, you need to talk about it. Even if you're not sure what you're going to talk about, just start talking, just start expressing, even if you're just writing it down, whatever it is, just to get it out of you, because if you don't, it's just going to fester. But mostly, yeah, music, playfulness, vibrations, sound, your power, like coming to life, right? Like that, this is about your power. Coming up from underneath, coming up to the surface. All right, thank you, Libra. Scorpio. Scorpio. Oh, you've got 3. The Empress snuck in there. Judgment, the Devil, and the Empress. Now, the fact that the Empress snuck in there and we have the Devil, there could be like you're going back to something that you shouldn't go back to. This could be an addiction to overspending, overindulgence, luxury. This could also be going back to a specific person or some kind of like something relating to fertility or sexuality with the Empress. Art and music are going to help you get out of this dark tunnel. Art and music, being heard, being creative, being in the zone. The thing is, you have to make something to get something. Like the Devil is kind of materialistic, up to the point of obsession, to the point of possession and hoarding, where like selfishness I'm seeing. But the Empress, on the other hand, is knowing that abundance is always there, nature's always there, like the universe, the world, the planet is always abundant. So there are different definitions of abundance, and Judgment is just here, I think, as the wake-up call to help you acknowledge, like, hey man, you've got a little bit of a problem with something here. You might be feeling stuck in the dark, you might be dealing with some fear, you could feel chained or locked or something, but like I think some of you are dealing with an issue where something's going to come to light, some like evidence, or something is going to become very glaringly obvious about work with a woman, money, gifts, or sexuality or addiction, or something very dark surrounding this person. And I know that this sounds like an extreme message, but I've got to say it because Judgment, the Devil are pretty big deals, okay? I'm not one of those readers that just sugarcoats everything. And if you know me, then you know this. Yeah, something's really coming to light here. Breaking free of the chains. You might even want to embody a little bit of that darkness just to feel kind of empowered. Like, people always think I'm a Scorpio because of the lyrics I write and the way I look. Like it's intense, and it's a little like, you know, embracing that darkness to like, you could be making some kind of, I don't know if you're making music, like a heavy kind of music, rock music, or like mythical sort of tales about these very old archetypes, because we have someone telling a story here with the Empress. Or you're making clothing, like telling the story in the process. But there is kind of a warning, like, when is enough enough? Because you have to be happy at some point with what you have. And Judgment is a lot braver than the Devil. Judgment is like, I'm risen, and the Devil can't hold me back. You know, this fear cannot hold me back. I'm not going to let these chains or these imaginary chains hold me back anymore. I'm free. And so you're coming up out of this darkness. And I think something may come as a relief. Addiction, this is the thing though, addictions can sort of change because you can still be addicted to things, but the addiction itself changes, right? So like maybe you were addicted to, let's just keep it light. You were addicted to video games and now you've given that up, but now you need something to fill the time. And now you're like obsessed or addicted or like overworking on something just because you don't know how to sit still. So there's also kind of this message about like, are you afraid of being still? Are you afraid of being comfortable? Or do you sit around too much? Like, is something calling you into action because something about this material existence is not enough and there has to be more of a spiritual element, like some kind of bigger purpose? And that's where being process oriented will really help you, because when you're like result oriented, you're always kind of looking for the next thing. It's like, well, I did that, okay, now what? But when you're in the process, you love every day because that's what is meaningful to you. There is a mother involved, there is some kind of addiction or overindulgence, and something is going to come to light about someone. I'm not so sure that it's you. It could be somebody that you are dealing with. Maybe someone in a relationship is like having a discussion about motherhood. Someone may really want children, and the devil is like, well, you're obligated. Like there's some kind of obligation, and there's some kind of questions about obligation and relations, what this person means to you and how you show up for them. So, just for the sake of keeping it short to this reading, that's what's coming up at this moon. But if you do want a personal reading, please look below and I would love to read for you. Okay, we got 3211 for Sagittarius, new moon in Aries, strength. Okay, so someone is testing your patience. You're like, man, more of it. Everyone's always testing my patience. Strength is really beautiful. This is leading by example. And, because sometimes you can be very like off the cuff, impulsive, a little biting, you have no problem being blunt and straightforward. And sometimes you prefer to run or walk away from things rather than kind of keep facing them head on. You're like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not feeding into this anymore. I'm over it. And you just kind of turn away. So strength is kind of challenging you at this moon to sit and stay with something or like deal with something. I'm not going to tell you to stay somewhere that you don't want to be. If maybe strength is like, I have to just bear this and do it. It seems like you're bearing a lot. The strength is, again, leading by example though, like being the bigger person, not letting your animal instinct take over where you just want to get angry or react a certain way, right? Like this lion. Ooh, no, the maiden comes in and says, no, my love, this is how we do it. Be gentle. It's okay. You don't need to be ferociously fighting everyone all the time. So this very kind energy comes in and there's this bond of trust established. I think something's really testing your patience, but your advice is to be strong, like inner strength. What does it mean to have, what does inner strength mean to you? What do you think exemplifies your inner strength? Is it something you want to work on? Is it something you've got a lot of? How do you use it? Because there could be someone maybe that you need to teach or show the way. It's not an easy card to bear. It challenges us. We may get judgment from people, but ultimately, we know it's right. Capricorn, 3437. Hey, Capricorn. Capricorn. Strength. Okay, Sagittarius had this too. Strength. You got to be brave. Inner strength. It could be for the sake of another person. Often with inner strength, it's we owe it to ourselves to have inner strength, to get through things and to believe in ourselves and to make our lives better. But I'm feeling that there's an outside influence here. There's another person, and you're doing something for the sake of them. You have to be careful not to be too much of a martyr with that. But the beautiful thing is remaining patient as possible. Something could really be testing your patience, but remaining patient, not giving into those animal instincts, but leading by example, looking at it as though there were a child in the room or like an impressionable person in the room. How would you act, right? You kind of want to act like there's someone paying attention and who's learning from your behavior, your choices. There's an effort here to rebuild, and this could be a little bit of a long journey. You know, the number 8 is karmic. It is associated with Saturn, your ruling planet. So there is this ongoing cycle, and karma is a big part of this. Something long-term that you're building now. So be strong, be brave, have inner strength. And that's about being the bigger person. That's inner strength is conquering that, you know, it's not about muscle strength. It's not about, well, I'm stronger than you and I'm going to show you. It's, I am patient and I will listen, but I'm also not going to put up with BS. It's about believing in yourself, that you can handle something and you will get through it and you will do great. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, new moon in Aries. Okay. Well, that's absolutely the equinox here. Death and the Star. If you're a Star Wars fan, then you probably see the Death Star. This is interesting because on the one hand, it kind of looks like someone's trying to smother your light. And there's this effervescence continuing to bubble to the surface, continuing to expand and grow and continuing to thrive and pulsate. What my initial reaction to this was the underworld. At the equinox, the spring equinox, this is when the maiden comes back from the underworld. She comes back to the surface of the earth and she brings the planet back to life. She's filling the ponds. She's bringing everything back to life. So there's been a period of darkness. There's been a period of uncertainty and loss or loneliness or quiet. And now things are starting to pick up again. It's about showing the way, showing others the way, showing other people the hope that, yes, a door has closed. Yes, this path is now gone or overgrown. Let's look at the other options. The Death card is he's pointing to another pathway. The butterfly's going down the new path. The star here is that beautiful light that you can follow, the hope for the future. So there's a lot of hope in these cards. There's a lot of hope. And it's you sharing that light with others, showing the way. A new path is appearing, new hope, coming back to life, reacquainting with something you love to do, therapy, touch therapy, washing the wounds, cleansing, some kind of care. But this benefits a lot of people. It's for the benefit of others. So whatever this ending is, there's a guiding light with a new path. So it's not going to be hard to transition at all. One step at a time, but I expect it'll be pretty smooth. So Aquarius, have a happy new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, Pisces. New moon in Aries, Pisces. Justice. So Gemini had this as well. Justice. And that's kind of making me think I want to line up all the cards that showed and the ones that didn't and notice kind of where the collective is. Because you are that sign of the collective, right? Everything all at once. And that's important here because justice looks at all the voices, looks at all the stories, looks at all the evidence, all the options before making a decision. So this is about informed decision making and the necessity to look at all possible scenarios and options before reaching that decision. But this is a really beautiful card of being peaceful, everything's in its right place, and it just feels correct. So there's a correction here, correcting. Some of you could be looking to, like career-wise, you could be looking to work in, you know, the theme of justice, institutions, you rule institutions, and justice is a big theme within institutions. So there could be some relationship there. But really, I think it's a wonderful moon where everything feels like it's in its right place. You can make decisions, you're clear-headed, you're feeling good, you're feeling empowered. It's fair, it's ready, you're ready to give your story, you're ready to make your decision. There's a lot of mental activity kind of going back and forth. Very clear. It's very clear. Something's clear, it's laid out. The natural balance of things as well. There's always a natural balance. I think I will leave that there. I'm going to pull out, okay, 4211. I am just going to pull out all of the cards that came out for the signs because some didn't, and that interests me. Okay, we have High Priestess and Empress. The Lovers. Divine feminine energy seems to be very strong. A lot of, allowance and changing over. The Chariot, Strength, the Wheel of Fortune. Justice, Hangman, and Death, right in a row. The Star, the Moon, Judgment, and the Devil. So, all these cards came out. So where's the collective at? We've got High Priestess, the Empress, the Lovers. A little bit of quiet time, tapping into divinity, feeling the strength of that, coming through you, and evidence of it in the world, in yourself, in your surroundings, seeing things coming true, seeing things become real. A lot of new opportunities for career for a lot of us. There's empowerment, there's strength, there's like a decision-making process. There's a lot of trust in the universe with these cards, trusting in the natural flow, the natural rhythm of things. I really feel like I'm kind of done with it, and not clinging to something out of fear or lack mentality, but accepting and then seeing the beautiful hope that can come out of it. For some of us, there's stuff that's beneath the surface that we're hiding, that we're dealing with, that we're keeping silent. We might not even know how to define what that is, so it could be hard to talk about for that reason. But this judgment is bringing it to the surface, and there's hope, because what I'm seeing here is a lot of support from not just the universe, but also a lot of people around you, and trust in yourself, right? Self-trust is a huge part of moving through these energies. So there's a lot of hopefulness and rebirth coming through for this moon. So everybody, I hope you have a wonderful new moon, and I'll talk to you very soon.